All right? And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's a few major factors involved in this decision. All right? And it was not an easy decision to make because I've been working on this for months with Mike. And we've been going back and forth about stuff. And it was a tough one. All right? But allow me to explain what's actually going on. All right? You fucking suck. You're a bitch. You are a bitch. To do a documentary like this is going to be incredibly time consuming. I'm talking weeks of work, likely away from being here and streaming with you guys, or really broken schedules and messed up stuff, right? So, for example, entire days of filming that I'm not streaming at all, a day where my schedule's way off and I'm doing kind of a half stream and then I'm running around. We're talking days I probably wouldn't even see my wife because I'd be so busy, right? And again, not just filming here, but also filming, I'm having to travel and go around to do this filming and stuff like that. So just that, number one, that's a big endeavor. And by the way, that's not the reason why I'm coming to this decision, but it's a factor in it, okay? Oh my God. What a fucking idiot. But basically, there's so many other factors going on. Some of these you guys know and some of you don't. Like, for example, I've got personal stuff going on behind the scenes in my life that none of you have any idea about. All right? You just don't. Because I don't share a lot of my personal stuff with you guys. As you know, over the last year, there's been a few days where I've told you guys things are going on. I'm not in the right mindset, or I'm not feeling well because of stuff. And that stuff's ongoing. So already, I'm kind of already at a limit of kind of stress in my life right now with that stuff going on. And that really sucks. All right. And let me also put it this way. Okay. In order for this documentary to work, it would need to be even-sided, right? So you need to have an equal level of good and bad, balanced. What's happened is, since the word of the documentary hit the internet, there's 98% of the interest is the toxic negative.
I don't have items to get rid of toxic. So I can't cure toxic.
Everyone who hates me wants to be a part of this thing or have input in it so they can slam me and make me look terrible, just like they do on a daily basis for personal gain on YouTube, right? So that's where the interest lies. My viewers and my fans and those who actually like me have reached out to me over the last several weeks. And some of you, I want to appreciate every one of you who reached out to me and gave me your true feelings about this, all right? I had people who I haven't heard from in years reach out to me and say, don't do this documentary. That basically, this is not going to work. That it's just going to end up being a field day for people to bring up old shit that I've grown out of, but act like it just happened, right? And there's other people also who basically are like, you know, I'd like to be a part of this. Like, I'd like to support you as a fan, but how could we viably do that? And I mean, you're talking about, like, for example, let's say we wanted to have a fan of mine be a part of this documentary. Well, you don't want to give up their identity because trolls actually harass my fans if they can. They've doxed them. They've messed with their personal lives. So what are we going to do? Like, create an identity protection situation where we have to black their face out and voice change them and film them in a dark room and just to have a fan of mine talk positively about me? You know, at least when I lie, I feel like it's better for the common good. Like, I'm trying to protect my family, you know? Right? Like, how crazy is that when you really think about it? And, you know, I want to say thank you because, again, there were a few people who I was working with to basically be kind of those people. And I appreciate that a couple people did step up and said they actually would do it. But do I really want to put people through that? Because, again, what you guys got to understand here is this is not just about me anymore. If I were younger, if this were me back in Connecticut, in my condo in Connecticut, and the documentary was being made about me, it's just about me. Who cares, right? But now I'm older, I'm more mature, and I realize that this affects everyone. The guy's like, fucking shit, fuck this guy, piece of fucking shit. Not just me. So my concern here is listening to all of your feedback. Here's the feedback that generally I've gotten from you guys in the last 2 weeks since basically this was announced, right? Since the Side Scrollers interview, so much drama happened. You know, first there was the fallout from that interview, and literally 3 or 4 months where those guys ragged on me, did constant streams about me, Stuttering Craig wanted to come on my content, you know, bullshit, all nonsense just to make money. And then finally they shut the fuck up. But then Keemstar interjected himself because he now wanted to get popularity with this Lolcow podcast bullshit, and then he persisted for months and months with that. And then finally now, we're at a time and a level where the air is clearing and things are calm and there's nothing really going on in the drama sphere at all, and people are actually just enjoying coming by and being a part of my content and not having to hear about this nonsense and that nonsense and this nonsense and that nonsense. Now, here's the thing. There's always going to be some nonsense. Right now with these trolls and the stupid false gifted memberships and all that, there will always be a level of that. But the thing is, there's some things you can ignore and there's some things you can't really ignore or can't control. The whole nonsense with the fake memberships is easily controllable. You ignore it, you ban the person, you move on. But if you've got every person on the internet talking again about me in a negative drama way, it's going to affect everyone again, right? And right now we're in a situation where I'm really stressed out already. I'm also incredibly busy. You know, not only am I running DSP Gaming, but now I got this new project with DSP Throwback that was already in the works and going, right? And now that's hitting full swing with its first stream and everything, and I got to be focusing somewhat on that. I'm still maintaining the React show every week, once a week, and I'm trying to find new content for that. In fact, we need to start talking about the Super Bowl event tomorrow to start planning it. And then on top of all of that, my wife has finally made the decision to come back into my content. Let's see. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Stop bothering me. And Kat now has been here on 2 streams, which have been awesome. And now we're trying to plan out the content where she can do co-op gameplay and commentary with me. And that's a lot of work too, to figure that all out, right? So it's kind of like we got all this stuff going on already. And now it's like, oh yeah, by the way, now we got a plan to have all this time away from work so I could film and I can do this and I got to travel to do this and that. And then on top of all of that, just so you guys know, there is one other factor that just happened this week, and I'm not going to tell you guys about it right now. Maybe eventually I would bring it up, but I'm not going to right now. But there was another huge determining factor that just happened. And that was basically the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. And I was like, I just can't do this. All right? So, just to make this official, all right, it is canceled. It's not, oh, it's delayed or whatever. The documentary is canceled, all right? Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't do something like this again or consider doing it again in the future. I'm saying right now, this is not the time, the climate, or the level of stress to really be taking on a project like this, okay? I'm good. It's not. Definitely things could change, maybe, right, in the future, perhaps. If things get better, if, you know, if the stress level lowers, if my time frees up a little bit more, right? But basically, I'm in a situation. Here's the truth of the matter here, is that this is a big gamble. Think of it this way. Let's say that I did this documentary, right? And it went really well. All of a sudden, there's a fair, balanced way to look at me, and all of a sudden a bunch of new people are exposed to my content and they come over to the channel and our community grows and it's better for the business and for everything. That could happen, right? It could. But the thing is, it could. It's not a guarantee. It could very well go the other way. It could go the other way that I do this documentary, and again, some of these old things about my past that are not me anymore, but you're talking about, you know, things from my Street Fighter days, things from my early days of YouTube, shit that doesn't apply to me in 2024, but things that people are only just hearing about for the very first time. And now they become an emphasis for certain people. And now people, oh, that's that guy who did that 20 years ago, right? Or this or that. And that could be really bad for us all, right? It could put us in a worse light as a community. Not just me, but it could put us in a worse light as a community together. And that is a risk that right now I'm not willing to take. That my sins of the past are somehow going to rub off on us in 2024 and make us all be treated like dirt, right? This reminds me of everyone else in my life who always got special treatment over me when I was going to university and I couldn't get, couldn't get into a good university on scholarship because they wouldn't accept me because of certain financial situations. I wasn't a rich white guy, so I couldn't get into Ivy League schools, even though I worked my ass off in high school and had all the credentials to qualify for it. Because I'm not one of the special elite, elitist guys who gets the special treatment, right? And there is also one other thing, all right? I feel like this documentary, because I told you guys this when I started talking about it a couple weeks ago, I said this documentary would be the one. And what I meant about that is that this would be the one thing I do. That if I did this documentary, this would be it. I'm not going to do a second documentary in 5 more years. I'm not going to do a ton more interviews and all this shit. This is it. This is the one big project, right? That's going to encompass all of me, my history, who I am yesterday, today, how I've evolved, and all of that, right? All together. And I'm not sure that we're at the point that we're ready for that yet. Like I've said, I'm 41 years old, but I'm not going anywhere. Unlike all these other YouTubers who all of a sudden have decided together that they want to not do YouTube anymore. Oh, I can't take it anymore. The stress and all these years of doing it, I gotta quit. Well, no, you're quitting because you're rich. You know the whole thing? It doesn't matter what I do. My trolls say it's a negative. If I went forward with the documentary, well, that's a negative. Well, if I cancel the documentary, that's a negative. If I have input in the documentary, that's a negative. If I have no input in the documentary, that's also a negative. It doesn't matter if I fart or breathe or whatever I do, it's a negative. I don't give 2 shits what trolls say. And the fact that you care about what the trolls say means that you need to also reassess who you are and what you think about. Because in life, if you give 2 shits about what a hater says, you're just wasting your time. Like, this is not legit criticism. It's just nonsensical shit that they say, So I don't care if they're happy or upset that I am or not doing a documentary. They can get fucked.